Hey, what's up guys, aarava here, and welcome back to an episode of my F1 2019 career mode, episode number 42 today for the Brazilian Grand Prix in Season 2, the penultimate episode of the season and this title fight between myself and Lewis Hamilton. If you guys did miss the previous one at the USA Grand Prix, then be sure to go check that one out before you see this one. Entering off the back of that episode, we lead the championship by 1 measly point, but we have a failure of the chassis upgrade we made, so that's a bit unfortunate. So that means at Abu Dhabi we have 2 upgrades to come in for the final race, which I guess is kind of good, but it means going into Brazil, apparently on paper, we're a little bit behind Mercedes there on the R&D chart. Renault still reigns supreme with Toro Rosso in second now, Williams third, Red Bull climb up to 4th place, doing okay to recover, I guess, and try and keep up with their kind of junior, quote-unquote, sister team there of Toro Rosso, who actually made big strides on the chart there to actually go very close to Renault, probably the closest a team has been to Renault ever since Renault got into the lead of the R&D race there. So Toro Rosso might actually be quite rapid at Brazil, and that's going to make things very interesting indeed for the top fight, and it's going to make things even more trickier for myself or Hamilton to gain points on one another, even more so if, you know, the top 8 positions all blocked out. But Brazil is going to be quite tough in general. You know, it's been known to cause some chaos in finales gone by. Of course, this is the penultimate episode of this season, so the finale will fall to Abu Dhabi, but I'm sure it'll still throw up some chaos here. Raring to go. Let's go to Saturday and see how we do over 1 lap.
As we await the green light to get today's qualifying session underway. When it comes to getting lap time out of this circuit, it's traditionally been about maximising top speed. Do you simply remove as much downforce as possible, hang on into the corners and max out down the straights?
Top speed is a key factor for this circuit. Even if you can achieve the same lap time as someone running less wing than you, chances are you'll find overtaking difficult if you have too much drag.
So much like USA, unfortunately, the start of qualifying was a little bit poor from us in Q1. The first run not going to be good enough as we cross the line. It's only P14 there, and will eventually fall down the order to P20 last. At the moment, they've Valtteri Bottas 19th place as well, Perez 18th, so a lot of people yet to set in good times, having to go again as the track evolves a little bit. Eventually, we do get up into P12 then to get into Q2, but Raikkonen P9 maybe suggests a little bit our car is on the back foot a tiny bit here at Brazil. You know, it's always a compromise of how much aero you run, because you do need also good straight line speed down this first sector and also the last sector. You know, the run up the hill, you can't compromise too much on drag, otherwise you will be a turtle up that hill. But sector 2, all about the downforce there, so it's a tricky one to try and balance here. And at the moment, Devon Butler is the fastest at the moment in Q2, showing the Toro Rosso having some good paces. We come through the last few corners then over the bump, trying to not scrub too much speed as we go up the hill then, as the sun blinds us a little bit, and we got the gears, and then we open up DRS for the final run to the line, sticking to the left hand side, going to overtake mode as well to try and give us a little bit of an oomph if we can, and gain those little last few seconds as we go across the line, or rather tenths really, not seconds, but across the line. P4, and we do make it into Q3, but look at that, we're down to P10 by the end of Q2. Raikkonen just about doesn't make it in there. Hamilton makes it in with a very strong 3rd place there, which is very worrying for me to see Hamilton that far up the order, and myself and Raikkonen right on the teetering edge there, myself on the good side of things. Raikkonen unfortunately knocked out of Q2, so he'll have a free choice of tyres of course, but that's going to make things a little bit more annoying for me of not having a rear gunner to back me up in this fight against Hamilton. But hey ho, we continue on into Q3 then, and it's time to whip out a much better lap time to try and match Hamilton if we can, and hope that Hamilton can't produce anything like he did in Q2, and then the others we yet to show up here, you know, the likes of Lucas Weber, Verstappen, you know, both Toro Rossos, I should hope, could try and beat Hamilton and try and push him down the order and try and get us as close as we can to him on the grid as we go through to the end of the lap. Then we've got hopefully 2 runs to do here today. We've got enough tyres for it, so open DRS again, overtake mode, trying to squeeze out those last few little bits of time, and we're up into P4 there at the moment. Hamilton is behind us indeed, but as we go through to the end of the session, I just don't know. Qualifying is complete, but I think there are other people behind me yet to set their final lap times there. We've gone purple first sector, second green sector, so pretty good omen there, but let's see how the last sector goes and see what Hamilton can produce. We run to the line, DRS open again, overtake mode once again, across the line. What's it going to be? It's going to be P5 in the end, and we are going to be ahead of Lewis Hamilton, but he's going to be right there, P6 once again. Me and Hamilton locked away right alongside each other. Literally, we've been like glue together the last few episodes, especially in qualifying. Last 2 episodes, we've been on the same row. Absolutely awesome stuff there, but look at that. Alexander Albon, amazing performance in the Toro Rosso to beat Verstappen, no less, to second place there. So the Toro Rosso is really getting staying up there. And to be fair, Leclerc, amazing performance in the Ferrari, considering where the Ferrari is on the R&D graph there. So things have already been shaken up a little bit at Sao Paulo. We're going to have a bit of an overcast race, so maybe, you never know, some surprise rain to come. You just can't tell, but looking forward to this one, the penultimate race, and it's going to be all about setting up that final race at Abu Dhabi. So let's go out there and have a good one. Let's go to Sunday in Brazil.
Where there's a will, well, there's a way. And nowhere has that fact been better demonstrated over the years than here at Interlagos. Remember Senna winning while fighting a gearbox that was jammed in 6th? 5 Drivers' Championship deciders in a row between 2005 and 2009. And of course, the passionate Brazilian fans packing the grandstands to capacity every year. And they're not about to stop now. It's an unusual anti-clockwise race here at Interlagos, where the Sao Paulo locals are packed into the grandstands at each of the 15 corners around this classic 2.7-mile circuit. 2 very fast sections bookend the famous and highly technical Sector 2, where getting a good run out of Junsao into one of the 2 DRS zones will be the key to any overtaking prospects today. Anthony Davidson, thanks for joining me once again for the Grand Prix. Let's talk about the engineer. There's a real chance they could win the title today. So how do you think they'll handle the pressure?
Well, I try not to think about the result too much. The worst thing you can do in this situation is think about all the what-ifs. What if I get hit going into turn 1? What if I get a penalty? What if I finish outside the points? If you let any of those kind of worries get to you, you can't focus on the job. So staying in the right mindset will be critical today.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Lucas Weber lines up on pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have the engineer, Hamilton, Devon, Butler and Albon, Russell, Magnussen, Raikkonen and Lando Norris, Stroll, Vettel, Charles Leclerc and Hülkenberg, Giovinazzi, Grosjean, Daniel Ricciardo and Sergio Perez. Gasly, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. And Valtteri Bottas begins the race from the back of the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Right, so no grid penalties for either myself or Lewis Hamilton, but there are some for Leclerc and Albon, so both of us move forward by a row on the second row of the grid now, 3rd and 4th respectively. They're looking ahead of the 2 Renaults. Strategy-wise, it'll be either a 1 or 2 stop today. Our default selected the 2 stop, but the 1 stop apparently is a little bit quicker there on the hards. I do remember last season a lot of people actually jumped and did a good race on a 1 stop, so that might be a very big possibility for us. Overcast conditions, going to sunny. Let's just see how this goes though in the first stint, and we need to make sure we can try and stay ahead of Lewis Hamilton in the first turn or first lap at least, as we go now to 5 red lights. The penultimate round of this season here at Brazilian Grand Prix, and we're underway. It's a good start for Verstappen versus Weber on pole position. Verstappen tucks in to try and make a move to the inside, then Hamilton down our inside. Butler tries to go around my outside there. We're not having any of that though, but we're side by side with our championship rival there. He's got the better of us there as he cuts across, and it's going to brake check us a little bit there as we make a little bit of contact on his gearbox. We're going to get in the slipstream though, and this is going to be a crucial dive round the outside, real late on the brakes, lock up on the front left, but we just about keep the car on the track, and that is a crucial dive bomb that was, and that was a real late move. Made it work though, up into 3rd place, and now we can try and control this race from here on out and try and see if we can maintain the position ahead of Hamilton. But both of us up here in 3rd and 4th, it's quite a lofty position here, and there's a few more points at play then and at stake maybe when we're this high up compared to where we were at the likes of USA and Mexico maybe. But Weber at the moment 2nd place, chasing after Verstappen. Those two are actually side by side actually. Look at the distance there as they swap positions. On the top left you can see Verstappen at the moment in P2, now up into P1 as those two jostle up the hill for position in Sector 2. So great scrapping away for the race lead at the moment between the 2 Renault cars. At the moment all whole station there for myself in 3rd, Hamilton 4th, but the 2 Toro Rossos of Albon and Butler are close behind. This is Butler in P5. Will he go for a move on Hamilton and try and spoil the party? Goes, oh, fade to the left, go to the right. It's a real tasty move by Devon there. Round the outside of Hamilton he'll go, and he's going to make it work and just show how good that Toro Rosso car is at the moment. Up into P4, so Hamilton in a Toro Rosso sandwich there there with Albon pressurising him behind. That's good news for me if Hamilton's going to go down the order just like he did at Mexico and USA potentially. He's making a habit of that, actually, Hamilton, in traffic, even going down the order. But we need to watch out as well, because off the run, up the hill, Devon Butler is going to be rapid time in that Toro Rosso Honda. He's already closing up there. He's going to have DRS as well as we go on to lap number 5. He's on the left-hand side. He's tapped us round. Butler, what on earth have you done? As we go and hit the wall. And somehow we've kept the car going in a straight line. We've got it back in a straight line. And somehow we've got no damage on the front wing. I can't believe it. It's an absolute F1 miracle here. P10. We've lost for 6 positions there. Our tyres are absolutely shot. But somehow, no damage to our car. We can continue on. We're going to have to slow things down and try and cool off these tyres, though. As you can see there, the turning just isn't working. The front tyres don't want to grip in. And Leclerc is now right up our chuff here for P11. Obviously, he was right up there in qualifying with us, so actually quite ironic how we're battling him now. But the tyres are really not wanting to bite in. You can see that front right is absolutely on fire there. Brick yellow on the tyre carcass temperatures. Obviously, it would be because the spin we had. But, oh my word, what a miracle spin that was for us not to be completely in the wall and race over or damage there. But what on earth was Devon Butler doing there on the left-hand side? I said he was going to go to the left, but there was no room to go there. I was on the kind of natural kind of line I usually take around Brazil, and you would think, nah, there's not enough room there. You can clearly see my car is naturally taking that line, and so back out of that, go to the right-hand side, but he just called it so late. It was too late for him to do anything. He hits my side pod and spins me around there. On board back with us just to watch that entire crash from my on board there. You can see having to get the car kind of slid around, and somehow I think my rear right tyre hit the wall, didn't brake, and bumped my car back around the right way. So thank my lucky stars there. On board from Hamilton, watching his main rival be half spun there, and Raikkonen actually is the one who gains a lot. Look at this, Raikkonen, the cheekiest man ever, gets a 3-man overtake done because they're green flags after into turn 1, because it was all fine because I didn't actually fully crash there. So Raikkonen gained 3 free positions thanks to my spin there. So I think Raikkonen's now up into P5 or 6, doing very, very well. But now on lap number 6, back to our POV, you can see the tyres are still having some issues here, and Leclerc has gone and overtaken us for P10. We're down to P11 now, so we may have not had a crash, we may have not had to make an extra pit stop, but we're still quite a fair bit now behind that top 10 pack here, and we have got issues with these tyres. Although the temperatures are looking fine on the heads-up display there on the right, they're quite deceiving really, because by the time we get to lap 12, they're going off so much here, and I just can't get the car turned in. The front right tyre is absolutely on fire here. We need to box in this lap. As we go through the heads-up display, you'll see it's completely brick red now. So I tried to cool down the tyres as much as I can, but basically the car and the tyres wanted me to drive so slow to keep the temperatures down. But obviously I'm trying to catch up to the top pack here, so it just wasn't going to happen. So they just started to light up again, and so I guess as soon as the spin was done, that was it. The tyre temperatures were never going to come back into range, and so the front right tyre was screaming there for a pit stop. So we're going to come in and we're going to go into a set of hard tyres, and we're going to have to try this one stop to try and get back into this Grand Prix. With a 2-stop, no chance now. With the time we've lost to Hamilton, we need to try the one stop now to try and jump him and just hope our car has some good pace on the hards compared to him. And also that battle between the 2 Toro Rossos, my teammate Raikkonen and Hamilton, gotta pray that those guys are scrapping away hammer and tong right now as I go out in clean air, because that's also the only other way I'm going to get back in this Grand Prix is if they're fighting over position and they lose each other time, basically going side by side in Sector 2, for example, of Brazil, how we know how much dirty air there is around there. But I'm still in a bit of shock, to be honest, of how we're still in this Grand Prix then. Count my lucky stars, the F1 gods are looking down upon us at the moment here at Sao Paulo, and so we speed through and try and catch up to this fight between Kevin Magnussen and Kimi Raikkonen this is. So although Raikkonen gained all those positions right now, he's under pressure from the Williams car, so I suspect he's gone down the order a little bit, and that race pace hasn't been too good for him on that first remaining stint, and I hope it's not the pace of him on the hard tyres as well, but we'll see about that. He's on the mediums, I think, actually, looking that little bit closer as the Williams overtakes him there. McLaren just comes out of the pit lane, so it's a 3-way scrap here. Very out of the blue there. Raikkonen on the outside, and no, he's on the hard tyres, so let's just hope that his pace on the hards isn't a reflection of what kind of pace I can get on the hard tyres. But a nice little battle there, and McLaren maintains the position just out of the pit lane as we go up the hill and have a little look around the outside of Raikkonen, and we're going to have to make a move soon because I think these guys are definitely a little bit slower than myself at the moment. I'm feeling these tyres very much so, and I mean obviously compared to the soft tyres I had, they're a lot better. And so Raikkonen a little bit slow on the entry, held up in the dirty air behind the Williams car, and so we get a tighter exit off that line. Good, great exit there around the outside there, flat in, keep the foot in on the throttle, and we make it stick on the P10 on the outside there. Now we'll try and close up to Kevin Magnussen for P9 up the hill using the overtake mode, rich mix and also DRS. As we get in the slipstream, the car is pulling and pulling, and the car is rapidly closing up to Magnussen there. So you can see the compromise I've made on the setup, very much towards straight line speed here for the race today. And so our car is geared up for overtaking. We're up into P9, and we can now try and close up on Lando Norris hopefully in the next lap or two. But our car definitely is meant for the race, and less so for the downforce in the qualifying there. And still we qualified quite well, so the compromise has worked out very much so this race weekend. So here we go, closing up to Lando Norris, then the other Brit. Lap number 17 on to 18 should be a pretty easy pass. We're going to get it done even before DRS pretty much there, but DRS will book that in as we go through onto the next lap, and we now chase after the clean air we've got towards the Red Bull and Toro Rosso fight of George Russell and Albon, it looks like. And those two, thankfully for me, were scrapping away so much so onto lap 22, catching up to Albon there, and Russell is ahead of him now. Surprised that Toro Rosso is actually being held up by the Red Bull, because Toro Rosso has been looking that quick this weekend in the hands of Butler especially, because Butler I believe is still ahead of Hamilton up in what is right now P3, actually a podium position here. Hamilton still P4, P5 then being George Russell, and then you've got Albon P6 ahead of us in our P7 here, but we're actually got the pace to overtake Albon here with a great little switch move to the inside. That was baited him into going defensive there, and so up the hill we've got the Toro Rosso. So I don't know, Albon must have some sort of deficit or issue, or just not a great setup compared to Butler, because he's flying out there in the podium position here as we now close up to George Russell, and you can see how slow that Red Bull car is at the moment here. So a lack of engine upgrades for the Red Bull Honda team versus the Toro Rosso Honda team there, I guess, compared to how they've been looking in recent episodes. And we're up into P5 then on lap 24, so some very good overtakes there and some crucial ones. And now we've got, what's that, 12 laps to go. Clean air just about as Russell tries to overtake me, so we have to go defensive here. So it's not over yet. The Red Bull actually has some decent pace in a straight line there with down that back straight in sector 1. But I was going to say 12 laps, clean air, time to try and catch Hamilton. It seems like we have some very good pace on these hard tyres, and Hamilton is struggling a little bit because he's still not even caught up to the Toro Rosso, and he's not catching up at all. And we're the ones now catching up on lap 31. 5 laps to go in this Grand Prix. We're within 1 second of Hamilton now, and it's about piling on the pressure and trying to force him into a mistake, and also at the same time just closing up and looking to make that pass when we can see an opportunity to do so. But obviously it's the second last race, can't make any brash decisions here. There's only 1 point in it, but I need to try and get ahead of him to try and keep myself safe and set myself up and feel more comfortable going into the finale next episode. So as we barrel down the pit straight on lap 31 onto lap 32, DRS open, and we're gaining at a rate of knots there. We're going to fly past Hamilton with a purple last sector there, red in the first 2 sectors, but that last sector monstrous for us there with the engine power dialed up to max with overtake mode engaged and DRS, and we're up into P4 of this Grand Prix. Now it's 4 laps of trying to survive and keeping Hamilton at bay. Butler has gone away 6 seconds ahead, no chance of catching him for the podium, but P4 is in our reach here. But Hamilton is gaining back, and he's equally got some good straight line speed. He fakes to the right, he goes to the left for the inside move there. We try and squeeze him, have to take to the outside now and keep a better line through turns 1 and 2, get a better exit and try and get this place back from Hamilton there. He's got ahead by quite a fair bit, a great exit for him off the centre S, but we open DRS and we're getting a bit of deja vu here from lap number 1 as he pulls to the right and make a diving pass round the outside, a late dive bomb, and we make it work up into P4 once more. But we've now also got the company of Albon. He's finally woken up, he's sorted out what sort of issue he had in his car. I guess he did have an issue because he's now going rapid time, and he makes an overtake on Hamilton, and he's up into P5 of this GP. He's overtaken Russell, overtaken Hamilton, and now he's behind me. And at this stage, you know what, I've got a championship to fight for. If he's going to come like a rocket, I'm not going to fight him too much there because he's really going for it. DRS open, here he comes now. Even with overtake mode on our car, we just can't keep up with him. He sends one to the inside. We've gone a little bit wide with a lock up on the front left there. He's going to be on the inside line. We're a little bit off circuit there, and Albon comes through and taps us a little bit, and we have to control the car and keep it in a straight line. This is the last lap of the Grand Prix actually on the top right there, so the last 4 laps have flown by, and Albon's only just done this on the last lap there, but that was very nerve-wracking times there. But I just completely let that go, didn't want to fight that any more than I did as we went down the hill before going up the hill once more for the rest of sector 2. And now lock up on the front right, Hamilton is down the the inside as we drift through up the next left-hander, and we just maintain that, but I almost bottled that through the right-hander, really under pressure there. The tyres giving way a little bit as Albon made the move, and they just carried on screeching through that entire lap here, and so we're just going to make it through in P5 then, and maintain the position ahead of Hamilton, and so that will give us the lead of the championship going into the finale at Abu Dhabi next time out.
Another win for the team at Renault today. Really impressive stuff. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, I honestly feel it was down to the driver and car today. I mean, we can talk driver skill all day, but if you don't have a solid team to back that, you're never going to get anywhere. When you hit that sweet spot of having both an excellent driver and an incredible car, that's when you see results like those we witnessed today.
As we can see, it's time for the podium, and I can see the Renault team underneath our commentary box going crazy as their drivers walk out. It was a great win, and it means a great deal to this team.
So another very tense end to a Grand Prix here, but just doing what I need to do tactically to keep the championship fight ticking over in my favour. The ball is in my court. 3 points now we have on Hamilton into the final race. That is by no means any more comforting because, you know, if Hamilton gets onto the podium, let's say third place, 2 Renaults, 1-2, and I'm in fourth place, that's us level on points, and I think he would win it on number of wins because he had that amazing streak of about 5 or 6 wins at the start of the season. You know, I'm just thinking of any bad scenario. I'm sure one of you guys in the comments below will comment below the scenarios you always do, and I just don't even want to think about it, to be honest, because it will make me feel a little bit sick because you know, it's very, very close. 3 points. Hamilton's been mega all season, and these last few races have been so tense, and like I mentioned before at Mexico, it just hasn't been any rest up between either of us, just back and forth punches for the title basically, and we're still neither of us knocked out here on the canvas yet, and we're still standing raring to go for one final round at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. You can see there we have those 2 upgrades now, the chassis that we repaired for this one and the engine power upgrade. Hopefully neither of those fail, and we come to Abu Dhabi with 2 upgrades and a bit of confidence going into Yas Marina for the final time, for the final battle for the Season 2 Drivers' World Championship. Once again doing management on the engine, but we've done enough good management that in the final race, the only thing that should be worn out is the control electronics, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't actually affect performance of the engine, just affects the wear of every other bit of the car, but that'll be fine. One last weekend, we can make it through. We've got a good gearbox, so we've really managed the engine quite perfectly in the last few rounds to make sure we don't have any last-minute surprise penalties. I'm hoping Hamilton doesn't have any penalties either for his sake and for the championship fight's sake, because I'd love it to be a fair fight at Abu Dhabi, but that has been a very, very nerve-wracking Brazilian Grand Prix. From that spin we had, you know, my old F2 nemesis tried to take me out, basically, out of that not only race but championship fight there, but some kind of miracle to hit the wall with my right rear tyre and keep me going there almost echoes a little bit of the miracle Sebastian Vettel had in 2012 when he kept on rolling his car backwards in neutral and somehow stayed in the Grand Prix and wasn't raced over. And so we plough on one final round, the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix next time, guys. But if you did enjoy this episode, be sure to hit that like button. Let me know your thought in the comments below. If you are new around here, do subscribe for weekly full-on content. I've been Aarava. Have a just today. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.